Hi, everybody. Hello, world. Hello, everyone. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, here's Zeus. Hey, Zeus. This is Lily's Journal. Welcome, everyone. Today is October 29th, and Zeus wanted to say hi. And because today's subject has a lot to do with dogs, you guys. So here we go. Welcome, you guys. So here we go. Say hi to everybody, Zeus. All right. So here we go. I cannot. $1 zillion. The question is, who let the dogs out? 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 Can you guys hear it? I hope you can. Hi, everyone. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Queen. I hope you guys got to hear a little bit of that. Anyway, hi, everyone. I am going to be talking about dogs. All right. So let's get going. Zeus is here. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. Queen, you're scared of dogs. That's funny. All right, you guys, by the way, I am drinking green tea. Hold on. Green tea. All right. So here we go. It is very cold in Colorado. We have a snowstorm. That's what's going on. So as you guys can see, I'm all warm and comfy. So let's get this party started. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm going to have a little bit of green tea, and because I need to keep warm, you guys. I am cold. Anyway, so welcome, everyone. I'm really happy you all here. It's not going to be about just dogs. I'll let a few cats out too. We need to let a few cats out too. So here we go. You want October to be over? Oh, we just starting, darling. We just starting. All right. He wants to go down. Oh, okay. All right. We just starting. All right. Oh my gosh. There's a lot going on, you guys. So there's might be a lot of noise and all of that stuff. But I wanted to do this because today is a very interesting day. And I wanted to share with you guys, especially those of you that follow my shamanic work. That's basically what it is. Okay, Caesar. Okay. All right. So this has to do with my. Okay, I get it. Okay, you're gonna be here because. Okay. All right. Who let the dogs out? He's entitled to find out, huh? You want to know. Zeus wants to know. So, so here we go, guys. All right. I don't know. It just happens. Stuff happens. It's live, you guys. So sorry about that little interruption, but some dogs wanted to know what's going on with the dogs and what it has to do with any of anything, with anything. And what it has to do most of all is what today I want to, because this is my journal, you guys, so I'm talking from my own perspective. And of course, you guys know that, I use songs and things like that to kind of convey the type of energy that we're experiencing on this collective level restructuring that we're going through on this through this quickening. And so basically what I'm doing is just sharing my own personal experience with this reality that is changing and growing. And so the human consciousness is evolving. And so I am just, experiencing this evolution, which is spiritual in its nature, because it has to do with our souls and our spirits and who we truly are. And it does have a lot to do with religion. And so we're digging really deep into something. And the subjects that I am floating in right now, I kind of difficult, you guys, to explain. And you might know that because, as I've said, there is a certain limitations that are put upon, this whole communication system. And so here we go. How do you talk about something that's been that are people awakening to right now, right? And so for me, all I'm trying to do is just find these words right now, what it is that we're experiencing on collective level. And so because I've been talking last at least 3 years, if not 4 years, about things at this period of change that all of humanity is going to go through. All of humanity. And so we are going to have all these things come to the surface so we can clear it out and move forward in a better way, meaning evolving as human beings, and finding a better ways to create our existence here, if that's what you want to call it. But basically it's life. How do we live life well? How do we live life in harmony with spirit? How do we live life in harmony with everything that is manifested here through spirit, right? Through the God of it all. And that's the first stage of that, is to acknowledge that this is who we are, that we're the seeds of that creator God. And so then you can step in onto this shamanic path that I talk about myself. And so today I want to talk about how all of this is kind of unfolding, because it's been predicted by so many this end times. I mean, there's Bible there, you can read it there. There's a lot of other oldest ancient teachings and ancient, I guess, I don't know. There is even, and historical findings and things like in the pyramids and Mayan calendar and things like that. Those are all predictions and all of that, because those were the people that knew how time manifests, right? And so then they knew the mechanics of time. And so this is basically what we call today is quantum mechanics, because that's the mechanics of time in this reality, basically. And so this is what we're going through, is we're recognizing who we are beyond what we are here in this time, in this creation, which is this timeline, as many call. Hi, Diane. Oh my God, you made it. I just started. Tracy, thank you for coming. Thank you, Tracy. You always have such amazing, informative comments. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Matt, thank you for being here. Queen, thank you. Thank you, guys. Jerry, thanks. It's Great to have you guys here. It's wonderful. So, okay, the other thing I want to do today is, because this has been a little bit weird with all of my stuff, is I want to ask you guys, everyone who watches this, is to just please like this video. Unless you really dislike it, then you can dislike it. But even if you're okay, just like it, so I can do a little experiment with YouTube. Okay, thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Because it's just, I've been seeing some really weird numbers on my videos that are kind of doing little eye tricks on me, which is really strange. I don't know how to explain it. So I wanted to do a little test. That's me. I'm testing all the time. So thank you for that. So basically, what I want to kind of talk about today is, oh my God, there was a little bug. Oh my God, a little bug on my face showed up. Where did that show up from? It's so cold and snowing. This tiny little one. Okay, maybe it wasn't. Well, never mind. Okay, Lance, hi. Oh, great to see you, Lance. Great. Thank you. Okay, so let's come back to the perspective of a spiritual evolution, or a consciousness evolution, or expansion, or whatever it is you want to call it. But we're kind of all, those of us that grounded in their own process, because you going through it, you can recognize that some other people are going through it. And first of all, you immediately recognize the signature. It's more than just what they say or how they say it. And here comes all these different levels of communications that I talk about, that we are developing, going into this new age, because we're going into the age of Aquarius, which has a lot to do with the element of water. And so if you want to look at, at elemental alchemy, right? Then you can look at water, and right now it's snowing here in Colorado. So that's water too. It's a different state of water. And so this is what I'm talking about, being flexible in your body enough to always be always be in that spirit of you that is the universal mind of it all, the God source, or however many names that there is, we can come up with, to give some kind of title or understanding that will be for a conscious mind. But everyone that's here that knows that there is so much more communications that are happening on all these different levels, and especially for those that develop these abilities of communicating through all these different frequency levels, and all these different abilities that we as human beings have access to through our brain and all of that stuff, right? So talking about that portal, okay, ancients used to call it, and this is why in Egypt they built pyramids the way they are to Orion, because that's your own original portal, and it's right here on the back. It's actually, and I talk about the 3 glands. This is the funny part, you guys. When I was little, I used to look for all the stars, constellations on my body, and I found them all. I found them all. I don't know if I manifested them, but I found them all. Orion is your portal. Ancients used to call this what I call a Holy Trinity, because this is kind of more people that have religious terms can understand. Okay, guys, I'm kind of cold. I'm going to drink some tea. Okay, to keep me warm. Well, it's not about earthlings. You guys remember, of those of you that remember me from all that time back then, I talk of earthlings, but I've talked of earthlings and those that are of earth, because earth, the original earth, is Sophia. So this is where comes that overlay of the earth that is holographic and it's of dead light, and this is the matrix that everybody talk about, but it's an overlay. And the way they do it is they it's a complicated thing, but this is a complicated inorganic creation that we're coming out of, and it was a period or a timeline that we had to go through. And so right now, like I said, everything flipped inside out, and so darkness will be all exposed, and once it's exposed, it can then be transmuted. And because the reason we're going into this age, and the reason I'm talking about, if you want to look at all this transformation and all these things that we're going to go through as collective humanity, what's going to happen is a lot of this will have to do with transmuting the darkness. But what we're gaining now is this ability, what I talked about and called it simply quantum abilities, because that's what it is. Because time is it's quantum mechanics, okay? And so this is the quantum abilities are those that create timelines. And so those of you guys that understand what human mind is and how when it's source connected, and this is what literally Jesus talked about and all of that before it was all got twisted and turned inside out, and made into all of that, blood sacrifice ritual that they made it out to be. All of that is because they took teachings, and this is your original trauma-based teachings. And this is last time, you guys, I mentioned a little bit some of those teachings out there, and I've talked about Ashayana Dean and the Guardians, and I mentioned Lisa Renee and the Guardians, and I said, okay, and I give you a little bit of clues and let the cat out, that those were the same type of teachings. They're the trauma-based teachings, okay? And so this is what I'm actually, after all, so here's another cat out of the bag. What I was always doing is I've called myself a human consciousness investigator. So what I was investigating, what did I investigate? A crime. What was the crime? What was the crime? It's trauma-based spirituality that got hijacked by you-know-who. At the center of it is Club Idiots, but it goes way beyond just that. Club Idiots are just slaves that do the job for the slave masters. So that's just really what it is. But it was always about investigating trauma-based spirituality, because that's how they've stolen the real creation. Because through trauma then, and like I said, and that's why I said last time when I asked Randy those hard questions, that, and in last journal I said, well, girls, I don't know, maybe not even girls, I don't know, but Lisa, Renee, and Ashayana Dean, well, girls, how do you get those teachings? Oh, you get it 100% from Guardians. Okay. You want to push your responsibility on Guardians? All right, let's do that. Let's play that game. So, how do they get it? How do Guardians get those teachings? Because when you really look at it, it has all the signs of trauma-based extract. So, who are they? Who are the guardians? I would like to know. I would love to know. So here we come. Bye, Jimmy. Are you leaving? Okay. Love you. Bye. That was my son. So, all right. And then look at them writing the self-empowerment, and it's all about self. But you had no freaking clue how your guardians get those for you, those creation blueprints. How do they get blueprints for creation? But they're all fragmented, right? Because look at Ashayana Dean's past and look at Lisa Renee. Because they always work both sides. They do that, and then they put those people against each other. I mean, it's unbelievable the kind of training the slaves have to go through. And I'm sorry, for those of you that are here might hear that, and you still follow Lisa Renee or Ashayana Dean, there is no help for you. You're just a blind slave. Because they've told you none of that information was theirs. They didn't have connection to source themselves. All of it was implanted in its fragmented form. But where did it come from? Oh, it came from human beings. It came from tortured human beings. Or are you going to cover for that, Lisa Renee? How are you gonna cover for that? There's some other people out there that are attempting to cover for their own stupidity, because they were all knowing on that time. They knew there were aliens against under Getty. Oh yeah, there were aliens there. Oops. And then they were all knowing. They were all whistleblowers. They knew exactly what was going on. What did Wilcox do? Oh, he told you this is what's going to happen. Cabal's going to be arrested this year or that year. Just keep giving me the money. You know, they're going to be arrested. But when it comes to how in the world Lisa Renee or Ashayana Dean did you get hold of a trauma-based, fragmented blueprints stolen from somewhere, ain't yours. So, you all knowing had no freaking clue where they were coming from. Because you were just doing your job, right? But you're all knowing. You're all knowing whistleblowers. So for those of you that might say something, listen. When you get those fragmented teachings, and you're gonna put them on there, oh, this is a living flower of life, and this is a not living. It's just doodle. It's a little different. It's a little different doodle, because this is a living flower of life, and this is dead flower of life. One doodle on a different 1 degree angle different. That's different, Lily. That's different. That's living flower of life. Really? All right. What level of awareness does an individual have when they look at, the sacred geometry, and then they look at that same thing, just, little different doodle, and they believe that one is very bad, but the other one is good? What kind of awareness are we talking about? We're talking about zero awareness. Zero awareness. So let me tell you why, for those of you that are not aware, why people like Lisa Renee and Ashayana Dean do that. Why do they spread those teachings? For who? Who are they doing it for? I witnessed the harvesting of the people that go there, the slaves that have to feed that energy. But who's piggybacking? Who's trying to piggyback into our reality on our innocence? Oh, but they're the guardians. They want to piggyback on our innocence. But they're freaking guardians. Oh, yeah. They're guarding us. So, how many followers people like that still have? Take Wilcox. I mean, he's again talking about the event is coming in the next few years. I mean, I literally have to laugh at events that's coming. They literally wipe these people, a new program goes in. There's nobody home. There's nobody home because these people have been so abused themselves that the spirit has been gone. They've been taken over by whatever it is. They're slaves. And that's what's happening. And so the slaves right now, they'll do anything, like in Matrix. It talks about they'll do anything to protect that. That's what they're doing. They'll protect that to the point to where they will follow the rituals and everything because they will think that it somehow will return power to them. And they're going to still try because they've got nothing else. You got to understand, I've talked about this. I've talked about Blue Avians and what it was. It was a cult program. Club Idiots created cults all over the world. There are all kinds of everything. And your new age is no different. And your anti-new age is no different. And your truth movement is no different. And they're all operatives. 99% of them. And if you're not like me and you try to come in, oh, you got to go so undercover. So undercover that they'll never know that you're not part of their club. Right? So the overlords, the guardians that won't even let Ashayana Dean shit on her own time. She's got to wait for them to tell her what she can or cannot. I'm sorry. I'm going to make fun of them. And then, all they can do is this pyramid scams, right? So they're like salesmen. All these people in the media, they're like salesmen, they're like salesmen for them, like for pharma and all of that stuff. It depends who bought them and who pays for them and all of that, who pays their paycheck, right? They might get paycheck from who knows where, but it's blood money. It's blood money. Oh, you all know it's blood money. They know it. They know it is blood money, but they still go for it because with Bethel, we thought Bethel. We thought Bethel. We're gonna say we don't know. We didn't know. We were just, following the orders. So anyway, So next time, Lisa Renee, maybe we should ask you a few questions about your guardians. I am sure that a lot of us would like to know how it is that you got so lucky to do all of this for them. So, California's burning in more than one place and on more than one level, you guys. It's burning underground. So, it is what it is, you guys. But it's actually, but California is going to rise like a phoenix. It has to burn, you guys. It has to burn. Because without burning it, you're not going to rise like a phoenix. But now we're going to rise like a phoenix. So, who let the dogs out there? That's the thing. It's very easy to find out what's truly going on in Cali right now because it's all coming to the surface, literally. So, and always, and this is what I was talking about. As a shaman, you will see this. If once you do this and you anchor yourself in this is your life, is your metaphor, your own metaphor for your own spirit. You are your own Jesus. You are your own whoever you want to, you are your own Bruce Lee. It was like so funny. The one word or the two R and L that that Chinese people switch. Bruce Lee. I think it's just funny. Isn't that awesome? Bruce Lee. Okay, you guys. Yes, I mean, so just it's beautiful to see on that level when you understand the metaphor, because when you truly understand what is alchemy, you will understand that there is a process of burning that is required. California will survive. It will return alive. What is dying in California needs to die. And this is what I'm saying. All the shamans around the world, rejoice in which way? We have right now a marker in America. And they can't hide it. What happened in California and who controls it, who did all these things, it's not difficult to find out. So all of that is burning itself because it has to. It has no place in the future of California. Because California is the phoenix for all of America. And that's why it's happening there first. It's not that I am not, but you know what? Every true enlightenment teaching or true religion will tell you greed is not from true God. And so all in California that are so upset over their financial investments, I'm sorry. But the humanity in California is not a priority. It's been all that greed. And the greed is what's burning. So for those that have their greed burning, well, your greed is your reality. So Stick with it. See where it's going to get you. You're going to be all angry and upset, and you're going to be like Alex Jones. You will need a thing because you don't have enough anger for everybody. You're going to be the retard screaming to people, oh, I am beat over here. Clown. Clown screaming on the streets. Literally. Raised on a clown farm. Screaming. Is he realizing what is happening in the world? No. Who's screaming? Greed screaming. Because greed is angry. Greed is angry. The big baby. Oh, my little stones. I'm so special. I'm allowed to be angry. I'm so greedy. I'm so greedy. I'm gonna scream over here. I got megaphone. I'm special. I'm special. I got megaphone. Alex Jones. I'm special. Who gave him the megaphone? People. Whew, he doesn't need one. As it is, he's so annoying. Oh my God, that whatever it is, it's just so annoying. Well, Green, you talking about me? You're wrong, Green. Oh, I wear green. Well, learn the comms, darling. Learn the comms. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Multi-communications going on. Oh, you guys, this is so much fun. So, oh, more than greedy. Well, there is just like in Ukraine, I told you guys, there's all this, companies, there's all this masks. Those people don't operate under for openly. None of that underworld operates openly. They'll always have multiple masks, multiples. All of the entities involved will always have multiple masks. Okay, so this is for real diggers. For those that can dig and dig and dig. But that's where pretty much it's always like how they used to follow the money, right? And so here I'm talking about greed. And if you want to understand, because right now everyone in the media, you got to watch, because if you're awakened, you'll see the truth, even though they're lying. But what are lies? Lies are just cover up to the truth. So when you look at the lies and you have the eyes to see, as I said, and you develop those inner eyes to see and recognize frequency and recognize communications beyond words, then you'll understand what's going on. And then you will not have questions where you are of your location or where you stand. You will not be lost. Because the only people that are lost are those that subscribe to the lost at sea philosophy that they bought into. I am not lost at sea. I am the sea. Okay? How can I be lost within myself? Those of you that understand what I'm talking about, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But so for those of you, it's very easy to see a lot of people, and even in the beginning, and why they fallen for it, and why people like that. And let me give you an example, like, right? Truth, honor, and integrity, Thomas Williams, right? So I'm going to take you guys back, and then I'm going to ask you. He thought I am one of the operatives, working their game, playing their games, right? So I go to his thing. I go on his show, right? I go right after that Babylonian bitches were over there babbling about who knows what, and they were all, oh, give us our money, blah, 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 give us our money, blah, 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 give us our money. So basically, after that, what did I talk about, you guys? Because this is evidence now. What did I talk about? I talk about blood sacrifices. I talked about agencies being involved in it, in that work. I talked about all agencies that are involved all over the world in this agenda, and I didn't say it was, but I pretty much explained it in I mean, a third grader would know what I was talking about. But because, like I said, Maxine Waters' IQ, or I mean, Maxine Waters probably a genius compared to Thomas Williams. But I mean, he had no clue what I was talking about. He had no clue. And so now he's threatening to sue me, right? He's threatening to sue me. Come to mama. See what I mean? Because then all of the evidence out for everyone. That's how you put evidence. Club idiots. Okay, so this is how, so when you understand, and that was part of my spiritual battle that I had to fix and I had to do. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But I had to go and tell the truth of what they're really doing. So what happened? Immediately after that came the truth. And the cover, oh, just give us some money because we need money, because we want to keep going with our greedy schemes that we've been playing on humanity forever. So they just want to keep going, right? So they have all these people that do all this stuff. And that because it's all directing the society, directing the slaves to what to create and how to create reality that will suit them, because that's all they've got. But you should have read the book, or all the books and all the predictions from all the tribes around the world. Your time's going to be up. And this is the Aquarian age when it comes. And so the quickening is the process. It is basically, look at it as a collective humanity, alchemical process, or this evolution, and we are going through a stage of evolution, and it's going to be spontaneous in which way, just like in Bible it says, like, you know, in the blink of an eye, because once you anchor yourself in that true reality, then you're in that timeless space. And then you understand that you only exist here, and this timeline can never end. Because you're it. So it's amazing. And I know you guys always have, I read your comments after. Oh my God, you guys always have such amazing information there. And it's just, I see one every once in a while. First of all, it gets stuck and it doesn't go through. So I can read it. And then, but on the end, after I read it, it's just beautiful. So thank you everyone for always commenting, and because it adds a lot to, you know, to the understanding. And thank you all for your comments and sharing your experience too on my videos, because it helps others. And I know that a lot of people appreciate those comments and you guys sharing your own personal experiences, because it really is valuable for others. To learn, because, you know, it's It's very different from what we know and how I talk of these people and how they operate. They operate with their own force, with their personality force. So they take over your mind. You know, immediately it's all subliminal and it immediately goes into your subconscious. But what I'm talking about, once you anchored as a shaman, you operate on the superconscious. So you bypass subconscious. You don't stop to at okay, how do I think according to this flower of life that I'm looking at? How am I supposed to think here? Right? You don't do that. You allow the living energy, and this is what some of the Buddhists, what they do is they create those with the sand. They create those, beautiful creations and all of that stuff. Those are a similar creation symbols and all of that. But what do? They immediately blow the sand away because it can never stay stuck. And if you put it on the paper in 2D like these people did, that's a fragment. It's not a living energy. It's a fragment. Why would the guardians be interested in you, a living being, being the fragment and not the living energy? Why? Why? Why is it that they want us to be fragmented? Because that's what they were doing by people activating this in them. They were fragmenting their own minds. And they were restructuring their minds to work on this fragmented. And that's why she kept going and going and going, because this has to be constantly embedded into the mind. This is the net around the mind that the guardians were building, that they were going to piggyback on humans. No, no, Mama said, nope, not happening. Yes, it's basically destructive, right? And that's why what happens in the end, most of these people then ultimately will be suicidal and will commit suicide, because this is what ultimately happens. This is the experiment, basically. This is the Club Idiots experiment on Americans. Okay, through the spiritual thing, because of your religious rights and all of that stuff, they over. Big time. And so this is why, but it's invasion. They're all working together. But anyway, what I was going to say is, forgot. The old must be destroyed, right? Phoenix rising from the ashes lands. That's a beautiful, yeah, the old must be destroyed. The old must be destroyed. We cannot, it's a not living. And that's why I'm talking about, why are they pushing this fragmented axis? And what basically, so when you turn it inside out, what they want you to operate on the trauma-based fragmented reality. That's it. They're basically feeding off of your trauma. And that's why they're going to traumatize and traumatize and traumatize and traumatize and suck and suck and suck. Did you guys know that after Ashayana's Dean workshops, what people report is that sometimes they're unable to function up to week. They're that weakened. And this is what somebody talked about earthlings. And this is what I said, call them earthlings. Earthlings, I called those people earthlings because on that time, because I didn't want to call them weaklings, because they're weaklings. Those are that slave mentality that I've talked about. These are, because who follows people like Ashayana Dean, like Wilcox, like Laura Eisenhower, like, like those people that tell them, oh, this is coming. I think it's coming. Ascend into Mars. Let's ascend to Mars. And who would follow? Who would follow such a teaching? Who would follow such a fragmented creation? And especially when you know, because you know your own, I can see my own things, because this is how the Buddhists do it, because they can see their own energy. They can perceive their own energy, living energy within themselves, in their aura. So they put it on with the scent, create this beautiful fragmented, designs of it. And then they blow it into dust, because they can never fragment that creation, because it's living creation. You can never put it into that doodle thing. But what they do, they can only put it in the doodle, but a complicated doodle, right? Right? By stealing it through trauma and fragmenting a young child's mind. That's the only way they get it. It's the only way they get it. And that's how they create. They take, actually, that this is, and why they do the abuse and sexual abuse, because they take that power away from a child. It's a vampire taking it. It's a succubus, basically. It's taking the life force of that child, but it's taking it in fragmented form, because it cannot take it in a living creation. It cannot, like I said last time. Okay, Caesar wants to say bye to everybody. He wants to get down. So they can't take it. They can't feed on it through that. So because it's got to be in fragmented form. It's like a baby. You can't give it it doesn't have to chew anything with it. It can't process a living energy. And so these people they don't experience living energy. So this is why they constantly, like Ashaya Nadine said, that she runs that Merkaba bullshit through her body day and night. And they call it protecting. It's protecting. It's just parasite, just sucking. That's what it's doing. So that's what's going on, you guys. But when you understand that, and like I said, what I could do, I could see that in her workshop. I could see what was happening. But because I was stable myself, within myself, what I was able to do is just run that energy, and I didn't need any protection. I just needed to be me. And that's it. I needed to be Brazil. Maria, what do you mean Brazil? Oh, you from Brazil? Hi, Maria. Oh my gosh, thank you for being here from Brazil. Well, GWH, Ashayana looks dark. They all look dark. Some of them are hiding their faces. I mean, look at Lisa Harrison / Heaven's Gate, New Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate. Remember, you guys, in California, Heaven's Gate? Well, that was Club Idiot's thing, and that was a test, and they were gonna, this whoever they're gonna be the next alien. So all those alien groups that are out of LA, they were all related. This is all same script. There's and all the other and churches and all of that, but it's all trauma based. Okay, so this is where because this is the foundation for all of their spirituality, religion, and all of that. And this is how you can figure out, because it's all fragmented. And same as magic. Magic is fragmented too, because those things that are just equated to a negative energy. But you can do both. And so those symbols are real too, but they're fragmented just like everything else through trauma. How did they get those? Oh, they had to torture people on Friday the 13th to get those, right? But they're again, because they had a living, but through torture, they fragmented it. And then they took that out. And because they were in torture and they were in such a negative thing, then they came out as a negative because that's what they are experiencing. How do you think they are doing that? How do you think they're stealing? And why do they have to do what they do when they do their rituals and then have to drink that? Because it has that living, except it's in a living form, right? But they drink it through here, but because of that fragments, they operate through fragments. Okay, it's kind of difficult. I don't know how to explain. Their aura is all fragmented. This is what I can see in people. This is why I say, and this is why I told that I said, I have the sensitivity to know who's operating on this fragmented aura and who's operating on a living aura. Okay, and so I can read both, and that's the thing that many people don't understand, because they just, and that's why I said can never be lies, and especially if I can't on this computer, but if I'm physically present with another person, I can never be lied to in the physical present. If my aura touches your aura, like if it's in the, in that present, but then here I can expand my aura anywhere you are too. But of course, it's a lot more difficult for me to expand, not knowing exactly where you are. You're not, and for me, if you are here, right here in my face, you are like a jellyfish. All the energy, I can see how it goes inside and everything. Yeah. All right. Yes, I can feel all of the energies. It's not that I'm not triggered by them. It's just I'm always know who I am. I know my energy. Because I feel it. But I always, in a neutral form, I can always, I'm like a mirror. Then that I can, because I'm like a mirror. And then it's not that it's just it reflects in my aura. So I have to get my like energy ready. I said, show me, this individual, and then I'll feel it, all of it in my aura, and then that's it. I don't know how else to explain that. It's just I feel it, and then I understand here in what's going on. Like, but only on an energetic level, like on an energetic level, nothing on like details or anything. It's just only energy. So think of it as like feelings only. So, but the lies and truth, why I say, can never be lied to, is because the lie and truth, I also feel in the voice. It's not words that I'm listening to at all. The words are just coming, and then by feeling the vibration behind the words, I can then kind of reverse back to understand what is individual trying to either tell me about it or lie about. What are they lying about if they're lying about? So by that, allowing them to keep telling me what it is, then this is how I know the real truth with those people that lie. Then by lying, just like I said, there will be, because there's a mask. Lie is just a mask that's covering the truth. And so then if you have those abilities to kind of feel people like that, then you're unbreakable. They can't trigger you into, going berserk on yourself and, going Heaven's Gate on your ass, just because Lilu said that they're gonna meet you up there. Aliens are gonna meet you or whatever. So all of the aliens thing, it was just you can see they've succeeded. Then people have committed suicide in that time. So now they were gonna go bigger, right? They were gonna go bigger and all of that stuff. So but there's people like David Wilcock and what's his name, Goody, what Or you guys, or Lisa Harrison, you guys were gonna drink that Kool-Aid too. Look at what happened to all of the cults that Club Idiots created and then did this thing. Look at the religious cult Johnstown or whatever. Whose work is that? It's just the cats are out, the dogs are out, everything's out, you guys. And so it is an interesting thing about the dogs, but there's going to be more about that. It's a lot of encoded information flying around, you guys. So just stay grounded and just try to follow your joy. Don't lose track of your own joy, because that's your indicator. If you're losing track of Jonestown, yes, Johnsontown. Aliens are archons. Yeah. And these people are just, because like I was talking in the Wheel of Deception, that sub-archons, these are the people that are operating. They're not really, the human spirit doesn't, they're biosuits anyway. The human spirit cannot even incarnate into that bloodline anymore. It's just not, it can't. And so, and that's why I'm saying that it cannot be. And this is where they send the birth of new Jesus that they were waiting for. It was going to be this. But oops. Oops, you guys, but it's kind of easy. To be honest with you, like I said, I don't want to be negative or anything, because it really is not fun for me to like call people retards and all of that stuff. I really don't like doing that. I don't like being in that negative. But some of you, these people, they don't understand any other language. And especially Club Idiots, they don't. That's the only language they understand, because they're so limited in the operations. They're so limited because they're so sort of, they're just doing their job. So to convey to them the kind of trouble they're in, because they don't seem to quite grasp it yet. Right? Have you noticed that they don't quite seem to grasp that something is changing, and maybe things are not as they seem, and maybe humanity is actually doing something about it? It's just, but they don't seem to catch on. They keep playing their scripts that were developed in Gulag. So they keep going with their Gulag things. I hope you guys reading my comms. Nice and clear. All right. Hi, everybody. Okay. Yeah, we gotta laugh it off. We gotta laugh it off, because we can do it. They don't have the capability to laugh it off, because that's an instant presence of creator, true creator, whatever you want to call it, God, source, mind of it all, super consciousness, whatever. Yeah, this is my queen. I've got my costume on. All right, you guys, it's been over an hour. I don't know what it was all about. I am sure that instead of dogs, you got a few cats on the loose. I'm going to re-listen to this and read your comments. So I thank you so much, every one of you that comments there. I do that. I re-listen and then I read. And then I go, oh my gosh, if I only read what Lance said, that I could have just, because that would have helped me to move forward. But I'm starting to get hang of this a little bit more, right, you guys? Thank you, Lance. Thank you. They're clever, not intelligent. Yeah, there is intelligence. They don't even know what it is. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, stay wild, everybody. Bye. Love you. Love you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Who let the dogs out? Jimmy.